now I'm going to create exercise 6, and this is what we are going to do in exercise 6. We are going to create a class. We are going to create a function that submits the comments, and then we're going to create another function that is going to be comment section, and we will receive the comment from comment submission. So our comment section is going to be the parent function, and the comment submission is going to be the child function. So that basically means in this exercise, we are going to focus on parent-child communication and callback. Okay, let's first create our first function. And that is going to be comment submission. Function, comment, submission. When we want to submit a comment, we're going to have a section that I'm going to receive an input. Type is going to be text. I'm just going to display the comment in the comment section unchanged. So whenever you enter anything in the input, it's going to be received by the comment section, which is the parent. So now let's just see if our function works, if it just displays in app.js. For that, I have to export, and I will export default because I only want to send the comments submission. And then if I go to the app.js, I'm going to have to import it. That is going to import comment submission, and that is going to come from exercise 6. And then I'm going to call that here, comment submission. So now let's look at it. And now, as you can see, I have the input section here. I'm just going to give it a placeholder so we know. I'm going to go to exercise 6. And here I'm going to say placeholder is equal to enter comments. Now we have the enter comment here. Let's first check the functionality inside of the same function. I'm going to have an h3 tag here, and here I want to display the comments. As I am writing it, I want it to be displayed here. And then remember to have a div parent here because you can only send one component. So I want, whenever I write something in the input, I want it to show up here in front of display the comment. So the way that I'm going to do it, let's first do an experiment so we understand exactly what is happening. This is going to be a little bit of repetition from a user state video, but I just want everybody to be able to follow. I'm going to create a variable here, and I'm going to name it comments. I'm going to call it comment test. And then I'm going to just define it here. I have this comment test, and I want this comment test to be updated whenever I write something in the input, I want it to be saved in the comment test, okay? Because I want the comment test to show up here. Now, for that, I have to use unchanged function, create a function called comment test function. Okay, now I need to create this function so my input knows that whenever I change what it's supposed to do. I'm going to create an expression, and that is going to be comment test function. This is going to be equal to a function, get an event, and we explained that events will, whenever your input is getting triggered, so that means whenever unchanged is getting triggered, it will create an event, and that event have the information about this input. That means like the name and the value, and you can access it under event.target. So event.target.value. And in order to show that the value of it, in order to figure out if the comment test value is actually changing, since we are doing it since we are doing it without using the state, I'm going to create an alert here, which is not dependent on re-rendering. And I'm going to name this alert, and I'm going to send comment test to my alert, so I'll see what gets updated. Okay, so I see if the value of comment test actually gets updated. So I save this and then I go back here. Now, if whatever I write here, it will give me an alert. So far, we saw that if you're not using use state, um, we cannot update this H3 because React doesn't understand what has changed. It understands that something in the input has changed, but it cannot track it, so it will not trigger a re-render. So H3 won't get updated. For that, we said that there is a solution, and that is called use state. We're going to import use state from React. And then here, I'm still going to keep this input because I want to show you the difference. Okay, so here I am going to create an array because use state will give you an array. And inside of this array, I will have the comments and comments update. And then this is equal to use state, and the initial value of the comment is going to be empty. I'm going to create another input and another H3 here. And this time, I'm going to use state instead of using let. For that, I'm going to unchange to comment function, and the placeholder and everything is going to be the same, and this one is going to be comment instead of comment test. So now I have to create this function because on change it has to know what it has to do. I'm going to create const, and then here this is going to be now. I want to use the use state instead of variable. So whenever I want to update this comment, I can't directly update it because I want to keep the use state. I gotta have to use this function. I gotta have to use this function for it. So then I am going to call comment update, and that will update the comment. So whenever there is a change in this input, oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake here. I am going to set it to even.target.value. So now I got the value, and here instead of comment test, I am going to just pass comment. So I'm going to save this. I go back here. This one displays the comment, the one that we use state, and this one displays the comments test. Notice that alert is only under the comment test function. So that means the alert is going to only come from this one that doesn't have use state. So now if I write something here, I get update. I get an alert, so I see that something has been written here. And that means my variable has been updated. It has this value in it, okay? But nothing happens here. Now, if I write something here, then you'll see that this one that has use state is getting updated. So why is that? Even though so my comment test does have the value in it, but why this one doesn't get updated? So this is very important because whenever you're re-rendering, you only re-render the one that has been changed, okay? So in this case, use state is able to tell the React that the value of this input has changed. So then that means that this line of code get re-rendered. Okay, but here we don't have use state, even though we are running this function because we are getting the alert here, we are running it, but this line of code is not getting re-rendered. Okay, so that means it's not getting updated. So that means even though the comment test value is different now, this comment test value is different, this line of code is not getting updated since React doesn't understand the value of this input has changed. So this is very important so you won't get confused when I'm doing the parent. So let's clean up here a little bit so it won't be that confusing. I don't need this test anymore because it's not going to work. And then I don't need this one, and I don't need this one. Right now, I have a simple input that's going to display the comments. Here, if I write lucky, it's going to display it here. And next step I want to do is I don't want to display the comment inside of my comment submission, but I want to show this line of code inside of my comment section. So for that, I am going to call the comment submission inside of my comment section. In that case, this is going to be the child function, and I am going to create my parent function here. The name of the parent function is going to be comment section. In my parent component, I am going to run child function, and that is comment submission. I am just going to write comment submission here. So now we want to run the parent function inside of our app.js. We don't want to run the comment submission. We don't want to run the comment submission. We want to comment and run the comment section. So now I'm going to change this to comment section. And then I'm going to app.js and I'm going to import comment section from Exercise6. And here I'm going to call comment section. So when I go here, it doesn't show up. Why? Because I forgot to put return here, because it has to return a JSX. If I come in my app, I can write anything here. Everything works as normal. The only thing that has changed is that instead of calling this directly, I am calling it through the parent function. So as you can see, this is getting changed, okay? But let's do this. I created a div tag here because I want to add more stuff to it. But, and now let's look at this. Here, I don't have any user state, okay? But this element, this function have user state in it, okay? So that basically means this one gets updated independent of the parent. But if I create, it is in the same div, but I'm going to create a h3 tag here, even though the input one got updated, the other one didn't get updated, didn't get rendered. So this line of code gets rendered, but this line of code doesn't get rendered. I want to be able to, whatever the comment submission send, I be able to receive it in this h3. Okay. So in order to do that, first of all, I have to somehow get the information from comment submission. And this is where we're going to explain callback. Right now, in this setup, I'm able to send something to comment submission, okay? I am able to send props to the comment submission. But currently, I'm not able to receive things from comment section, okay? So the way that we are going to solve this problem is that whenever this line of code is going to be updated, whenever this line of code is going to re-render, that means it's going to run one more time, I am going to pass a function here. So whenever this one gets re-rendered, this function is going to work inside of the comment submission. Okay, and then I will send this function as a props to comment submission, and that will trigger whenever this line of code gets re-rendered. And when does this line of code get re-rendered? Whenever the input changes. So whenever the input changes, I will run this line of code again because it gets re-rendered. And then since I will pass a function as prop, I'm going to pass a function as prop, then that function is going to run in comment submission. And I can run that function that going to fetch the comment for me. So for that, I'm going to, first of all, I have to have curly braces because I want to say these props that you're getting are not string, but it's function. So anything that you're sending and it's not string, you gotta have to put it in curly braces. And I'm going to name this function fetch comment. Okay, so now this situation has changed. Whenever I'm calling comment submission, I gotta have to pass a function to comment submission in order for it to work. I think it's going to be more obvious. So I'm gonna name this I need function. Now let's actually change their name because, and then here I have to pass a function. I say I need a function is going to be equal to this function, and that is going to be fetch comments. Okay, so now I am going to say what's going to happen. This is the comments that I'm sending from the parent to the child. So now I'm going to say what's going to happen in fetch comment. I'm going to say whenever you saw fetch comment, whenever whenever fetch comment got triggered, whenever you re-render this comment submission, then you're gonna run this function. So const fetch comments is going to be equal to so fetch comment is going to tell the child, give me the comments, new comments. If I just say alert new comments, so now whenever this one gets re-rendered, this function is called. So this function wants something from me. This function needs a prop from me, and that is the new comment. Okay, so here, when do I get the new comments? Whenever change happens, and then when change happens, I run this function, and that means I need function needs to get the value from here because that's when it's getting updated. I need function, and now I am sending this comment here. So what happens here is that I write something in the input. My input notices that something has changed, so it will trigger unchanged function. Unchanged function, it's going to get that event, and the event under target, it has the value that has been inputted inside of the input. And then I am going to create a user state in order to be able to keep the value, in order to be able to change the props to be able to re-render. And user state is an array that requires two things from me. The first one is the comment or the string that I'm creating, and the second one is the function that you can only update this comment using this function. Okay, so I call that function here, and I will pass whatever value is inside of this input, and this function is going to update this comment. So now I have triggered a re-render, and I have updated the value of the comment. And then I am going to send the value of this comment inside of this function. This function is getting called here. So whenever re-render happens, and that means whenever the input changes, this function is going to be called. And then that function is getting this comment, and I am defining that what fetch comment, the function that I sent to the child, is supposed to do. And that is to alert new comment. So now I'm going to save this. I'm going here. Now, if I write anything here, OI, it's going to display in the alert. So that alert is coming from, this alert is coming from my parent. So that means I successfully was able to send this comment from my comment submission to here. as you remember in where I explained to you that only this line gets rendered, that means even though this line re-rendered, this one will not get re-rendered. Okay, so I won't be able to display this new comment here unless I use a user state. Here again, I'm going to create another user state, and that is const. Here I'm going to name it NC as a new comment, and then I'm going to call this NC update. Okay, so now I have the function and the variable, and this is going to be a user state, and the initial value is going to be empty. Now, instead of alerting this inside of this function, I am going to try to set the new comment to NC. For that, I'm going to use NC update, new comments. So now whenever this function is getting called, this NC will get updated to new comment. Now I can just call NC here, and my comment is going to be displayed in the parent function. You see? So if I write Helia, let's do this. Here I'm going to say from child, and the other one is going to be from parent. So if I say lucky, oh, very interesting. So the reason that happens is that user state is asynchronous. If I try to update the comment this way, then I will send an old comment, like one step behind, because this is asynchronous. So while it is waiting to fetch that, I already executed this function. For that, I'm going to create a const here, and I'm going to say new value. And this new value is going to be equal to even the target value. So now if I can just, for both of these, I can just pass new value. That problem should be resolved now, yes. So now if I write L, both of them update at the same time.